Hello and welcome to Galatta Plus. In this video review episode, we're going to be talking about Aditya Sarpotar's Thamma. The film has solid story beats, but it's not as fun as it should be. The film is centered on the romance between the characters played by Ayushmann and Rashmika Mandana. But this love story is not affecting, and neither are there enough scares and laughs. The film is sit-throughable, but from this franchise, I expected more. That was the short take. A longer review follows and it may contain spoilers.
Darling 3D Diwali deals. நீங்கள் வாங்கும் ஒவ்வொரு பொருளுக்கும் 3 அற்புதமான deals.
INDICUS Photo Durable Exterior Paint with Divo Color Technology.
குறைந்த விலை நிறைந்த தரம் தங்கள் தேவைகள் அனைத்தும் ஒரே இடத்தில் ஜெயச்சந்திரன்.
After Loka, we get another vampire movie that's part of a universe, and Thamma, like Loka, is based on folklore. Like we learned from the Chanda Mama stories, these bloodsuckers with fangs and flying powers are called Betal, and our first sighting of one occurs in 323 BC when Alexander with his troops is riding through the dense Indian forest. Alexander refuses to believe the Indian guide who warns that a supernatural power exists. He is soon proved wrong. The problem isn't what happens, the problem is how it happens. The scene, like the film, is predictable to a fault. The supposed scare happens just the way we expect it to, and just when we expect it to. There's also a touch of patriotism when a Betal asks the emperor, "Bharat pe kabza karega tu?" I was primed for a similar scene with the East India Company. Imagine the possibilities of a global conquest being interrupted by a hemoglobal conquest. It was not to be. At some point in all these universes, the films begin to take themselves and their world building very seriously. They forget what fun the earlier films were. The films become bigger with better visual effects certainly, but they lose the goofy charm of the predecessors. That's what happens with Thamma, directed by Aditya Sarpotar. The film has a clever plot about an unexpected crossover between the Betal community and the human community. Ayushmann plays a social media journalist named Alok. When he gets into an accident, he is saved by Tadaka, played by Rashmika Mandana. The story keeps switching between our real world, that is the present day, and a remote magical world like we've seen in the Patal Bhairavi type movies. Nawazuddin Siddiqui plays a Betal named Yakshasan, but he's not the villain in this romance between Alok and Tadaka. Yakshasan has other villainous ideas, and the romance almost helps him achieve them. Ayushmann is in fine form. His lovely dance acting to Kedun Tume, that old song from Divar, made me wonder what he'd have been like in the old song and dance days. Rashmika has a tough role to play and does this well, as though mimicking a puppet with humanoid qualities. You'll know what I mean when you see the movie. But the romance between Alok and Tadaka doesn't catch fire. It doesn't become the "I will go to the ends of the earth for you" type of thing that it wants to be. There is a plot point involving Alok's heartbeat, and it isn't as affecting as it should be. There are very few scares, and despite the presence of Paresh and Geeta Agarwal and Satyaraj and Abhishek Banerjee in the supporting cast, there is no sense of playfulness. You can sense the joke writing, but they don't land because they are not exactly fresh or fun. There are so many interesting things that can happen when a human being is introduced to a Betal, but none of these are explored well enough to establish a sense of myth. The beats are all solid, like why a Betal will think twice before drinking human blood. There's a great bit of world building when a human finds himself unable to understand a Betal conversation because the sound frequencies are different, or that a Betal is incapable of lying and therefore takes everything you say literally. Thamma needed more inventions like this rather than just the big action set pieces. I guess this film has to bear the burden of setting up this part of the Maddock universe, which is why Nawazuddin has such an abbreviated and generic role. He will presumably be a bigger part in the future films. But even so, you get the sense that more attention was lavished on item songs than on the script. The star cameo is fun, but Thamma suffers from having to be a part of a universe while also having to be its own movie. The result is anemic. That's it about Thamma. If you like this video review, do subscribe to Galatta Plus and see you soon in the movies.
Darling 3D Diwali deals. நீங்கள் வாங்கும் ஒவ்வொரு பொருளுக்கும் 3 அற்புதமான deals.
INDICUS Photo Durable Exterior Paint with Divo Color Technology.
குறைந்த விலை நிறைந்த தரம் தங்கள் தேவைகள் அனைத்தும் ஒரே இடத்தில் ஜெயச்சந்திரன்.